without any further ado, you know what? I could bring this guy on right, but there's not enough words that I could say, so I think I'm just going to let him I think I'm going to let him talk for himself. So, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, you can see us at #sports.net, ultimatesportstalk.com. We are going to bring in professional wrestler and YouTube sensation, the one-man thrill ride, Jimmy Preston. So strap in, keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times, and enjoy.
Good morning. It's 4:45 in the morning.
I'm the one-man thrill ride. I am the one-man thrill ride.
The one-man thrill ride is now boarding first class, zone number 1, destination Pleasure Town, U.S. of A. I'm a blue-eyed handsome man with the buffest swag.
And you may call me a handsome hardo with jawlines so chiseled that they possess clefts and their chin that make Tommy Brady shake in his Ugg boots.
I have a brief and ferocious message.
Squats and deads battling through a 101.3 Beaver fever
to hammer squats and deads because that's what professional athletes do. Doing my T-work, going elbow like taco, doing 300 dry swings, doing flippies, doing front toss. I am ready.
I lift weights, I go tanning, and I scream ferociously during interviews. And Handsome is officially happening right now on desktops, laptops, and on mobile devices which are resting gently in the sweaty and fat, disgusting palms of overweight slobs. A bunch of you squids.
You filthy butterball virgins. Virgin, smart mark, suck bag.
You skinny little prick.
With a sunken chest that I could eat a bowl of cereal out of.
With a sunken chest, I could eat steel-cut oatmeal and a dozen eggs out of.
If I was a cellmate, I'd never let you go. God help us.
Indeed, ladies and gentlemen, God help us. We are very, very welcome to have professional wrestler and YouTube sensation, Jimmy Preston, the one-man thrill ride. You know what? We have this past, present, and future segment that we've put kind of to the side a little bit. We're bringing it back, and what better way to do it? Because this is #sports. We talk sports. We're entertainment. So what better way to have a sports entertainer come on the show? Jimmy, welcome to the show.
Handsome is officially happening on #sports.
Oh, great.
Can you guys hear me loud and clear?
Yeah, you're
loud
good.
And clear.
Loud and clear. That's a beautiful thing. I'm so jacked up, I'm standing around in my hotel room. I'm highly caffeinated. I just got out of the gym. I'm just pacing back and forth.
Were you hammering squats and deads, Jimmy?
You know what's funny? Today was leg day. I didn't do squats or deads, so I feel like an absolute suck bag right now. I did a sissy leg workout. I did some leg press. I did some hack squat. I did some quad extension. I did some hammy curls, but no squats or deads.
So you didn't leave the Smith machine, basically.
I did, no, there was no Smith. I don't do the Smith machine. That's for sissies who go in the swimming pool with their shirts on. You know what I mean? I do the real free weight stuff.
Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, this is the past, present, future segment where we highlight an individual, where how they got their start, where they are now, and where they want to be. Without any further ado, let me get right into the questions here for you, Jimmy. Right off the bat, you were a highly touted ball player in college and in high school. I have the whole laundry list of your accomplishments here. They're unbelievable. Team captain, MVP, batting, just south of 500. A lot of the stuff that you have up here is just truly amazing. But what was your first inspiration of getting into professional wrestling?
I just grew up loving it. I remember being 9 years old and watching WWF superstars, and Ludwig Borga beat Tatanka to end his undefeated streak. And it was so crushing to me, I started crying. And I remember my father was like, if you're going to watch that fake crap, you better not be crying. But then I came back upstairs like 2 minutes later. I was like, Dad, I know what I want to be when I grow up. And he goes, you better not say pro wrestler. But that's what it was. I knew pretty much from the age of 9 that's what I wanted to do. But it's not easy to make a living doing it, that's for sure. But I had a dream from a very young age, I would say, like most wrestlers.
Yeah, I would say that I was very heavy into wrestling. I am once again, but when the Mega Powers broke was when my heart kind of left. I couldn't watch it anymore.
Oh yeah, if you wanted a shot, why didn't you ask me to my face?
All right, you said it's not an easy road. What are some of the how tough is it to balance out your schedule to being a professional wrestler?
Right now, it's pretty difficult because I have a 9 to 5. I'm a sales rep for a medical software company, so it's a lot of responsibility. So it's totally crazy. By day, I'm trying to talk to C-level executives at hospitals, and then I'm a hunk and a heart of ferociously handsome proportions in the evenings. It's a little interesting, but 24/7 full time. I'm an absolute savage, no matter what I do. Pedal to the metal.
Oh my God!
Mind if I interject, gentlemen?
Absolutely, Loop. No, you're on with the game in the Loop, Jimmy. Loop's going to ask you a few things, I guess.
Jimmy, pleasure to talk to you. I myself have built a hybrid that became a trademark and a copyright, and now a national affiliate for Blog Talk Radio. What made you come up with the title One Man Thrill Ride? What is the driving force in what you created that name for yourself? You're obviously branding constantly on YouTube, which is extremely intelligent, and that is the question right there.
Well, that's actually a pretty funny story. So my senior year of high school, I played football, but I gave it up for my junior season. So I had to go up as a freshman during football camp during a talent show, even though I was a senior, or with the sophomores, because the freshmen didn't go to camp. And I did a poem. And back in high school, I wasn't very good with the ladies. And it was basically this poem about no matter how much weight I curl, I can't get a girl type deal. And I did this whole thing. I had the entire camp rolling. And at the end of the poem, I said, I'm going to be feeling bold, and I'm going to unload, and she's going to be calling me the one-man thrill ride. And there it was. I was basically making fun of myself for not being able to close the deal, but, I always thought it was a pretty funny thing. And with wrestling, it has a double meaning because it also means, you're an entertaining wrestler, you're exciting and athletic, and it's like a roller coaster ride every time I go out there and wrestle. So it has a double meaning, and definitely not purely sexual, especially with WWE going towards the PG rating. So that's something I'm very aware of as I move along further and further.
Well, if they can give airtime to the to the tons of funk, I believe they have room for the one-man throw ride.
I would think so too. I think I could add some value to that programming that I'm currently missing right at this very moment.
I'm DVRing that bad boy. You can best believe that. Going on that. I mean, with the, I've seen some of your matches. I've seen some of the way you're portrayed. It seems like a majority of the time as the heel. What do you feel more comfortable? Which role do you feel more comfortable in? Would you like to be the face, or would you like to be the heel? And when you make your step up.
Well, I mean, I think lately I've been pretty much an antagonist pretty much the whole time, with a couple exceptions here or there. I would have to say that I'm more comfortable. It's funny, as a character, it's much easier to be a heel, to make people hate you than to get people behind you. That takes a special talent to get people to just cheer for you. So from that sense, it's very difficult from a character standpoint to just be a good guy unless you do it my way, which I'm starting to, as a bad guy, I'm starting to get some cheers because of the YouTube channel and the way I grill people and insult people. People are starting to. I wrestled Big Van Vader last Friday night down in Waterbury, Connecticut, and there were some cheers when I'm in the ring with Vader, and I was like thinking, you guys got to be a little more quiet because if he starts hearing you cheering, he might start putting me in the corner and start laying the potatoes on. So, you know what I mean? But as a villain, it's you're more of like a ring general. So it's been great the last year to kind of learn that side of wrestling, and it's really much more about psychology, and you're kind of leading the dance as the villain. So to get to learn that side of it's been very valuable in the last year, and I've definitely improved as a wrestler because of it. So I would say I prefer in the ring to be a babyface, but the character, I'm much more naturally a bad guy, I would have to say. So it's a little bit of both. That's a good question.
I will tell you though, after I watched your official joining of Match.com, I couldn't stop laughing. I was literally in tears watching that because it was. I don't know if you get that hat made specially for yourself, but that is absolutely that is a gem of a. It's not really. It wasn't really a promo, but it was just absolutely hysterical. Some of the lines you brought out some Bull Durham lines. I heard that one, and
absolutely,
wow, absolutely, it's just phenomenal. Absolutely, and. You mentioned wrestling Vader. I got a question for you. I believe you've also wrestled with Godfather. Am I correct?
Yes, I wrestled with Godfather. The week before, I wrestled Matt Hardy. So I had three weeks in a row there where I was wrestling guys with extensive background in the WWE. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I know, and I know you got coming up April 4th. You're wrestling at Top Rope Promotions at the Pale Hall in Fall River, Mass.
That's right, where it smells like. I just want to say that the PAL Hall in Fall River, Massachusetts smells like charisse and manure. And I want everybody in Fall River to know that they're trash.
Well, I'll pause and step back if you want to cut a promo on that match. I'll be more than happy to let you do that. You go right ahead.
Oh, man, right off the cuff doing it live. I mean, I'm wrestling Johnny Angel, and he's going to be in the ring with the Heavenly Hardo, a hunk, and a beautiful beefcake, and he's going to be in a world of trouble when I bash his brains in like an absolute savage. And open up the biggest bottle of sea and dink you've ever seen.
Oh my Lord, fantastic! So if you wrestle, you have those guys 3 weeks in a row. I got to ask you, who are your three dream matchups? Three guys you would love to get in the ring with and wrestle.
I've said this to a bunch of people. I think my number one dream match would be to wrestle John Cena in Boston, whether that be at the Bank North Garden or Fenway Park. He's a local guy. He's been the face of the WWE for, 10 years. He went to Springfield College. He's a Division III All-American lineman. My best friend wrestled at Springfield and, heard all about him. And, I went to Fitchburg State University. So, if we played Springfield College in baseball, we would have beat them, 70-0, and I would have went 8 for 8 with 7 doubles and a homer. But that's not the point.
Put on a late show.
And I would have looked the best in baseball pants out of the 50 guys on the field. But it is what it is. But no, I think that would be great to wrestle another local guy in my hometown. The face of the WWE for a decade. I think that would be pretty cool to be able to do that. So that would be number one. If we can go back in time, my favorite wrestler growing up was Bret the Hitman Hart. So I would love to. I mean, I don't think you can do it anymore because of the stroke, but if I could go back in time, and then the third guy, just from a pure performance standpoint, I'd love to wrestle Eddie Guerrero because I think he was probably pound for pound the greatest in-ring performer of all time. Him and Shawn Michaels, in my opinion. So those are probably my three.
Those are three titans. Those are three titans.
Absolutely. Plus, I love Latino Heat.
Well, does the winner or the loser get China then?
Oh my God. I'm staying away from that.
All right. I will make you answer that, Jimmy. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Hashtag Sports. We got the one-man thrill ride, Jimmy Preston, in the queue. I got to tell you, what? My brother was the first one to actually highlight the Pittsburgh State your alumni game video, which has well over 320,000. Or what's the official number on that, Jimmy? Do you have that with you?
I'm not sure. I think altogether my channel is closing in on 500,000 views, which I just realized today. It's like, holy smokes, that escalated rather quickly. You know what I mean? This thing was launched in October. What the hell happened? But it's pretty cool because at first it was one video. And if you know anything, because I've done a lot of research on how to build a YouTube channel, and it's one viral video doesn't make a YouTube channel. You got to provide consistent quality content. And to be able to see, one video, I think the video has about 350,000 views, but now I have videos that are climbing towards 10,000 views, like a handful of other videos. So it's good to see. I did a video on Tinder, which is a dating application, which is doing very well. I had some other ones. I cut a promo on Tito Santana. I wrestled him, too, the WWE Hall of Famer.
Oh, I saw that one, yeah.
Yeah. He talked about how he was wearing Oops, I Crap My Pants Depends. It was pretty good.
Rick Martel, yeah, I remember that. That was hilarious.
He's spraying the air again, trying to cover up the smell from the Oops, I Crap My Pants Depends.
The one that's probably gotten at least 15 views, I know from me, was the 5-star match, and I mentioned it to you earlier. I think that one was absolutely hysterical because you just had so much fire in that one. It was just like you were just more angry than cutting a promo, and it was absolutely phenomenal. The 726 knife edge chops with kick pads on your forearm. Oh my God, I was an absolute tears watching.
Well, it's funny you mention that because I really think that's kind of like the what's going on right now in pro wrestling. There's an element of the fans that are the most vocal and the most diehard are kind of nerds and 40-year-old virgins and guys that live in their basements, and it's just not cool to be a wrestling. I don't think that if you wear pads to a fight, it's cool. That's why I say kick pads are for pussycats. You know what I mean? It's like you don't wear pads to a fight. You don't put a pad on your back when you're doing squats. I hate it in baseball when guys wear elbow pads and crowd to the plate. It's just, I don't get it. And it's like the cool thing to do. And it's like you're wearing pads on your shin like you're going to 9-year-old youth soccer practice and you're looking for the orange slices at halftime. I just think it's and like if you have muscles, you get booed. Like Ryback's jacked out of his mind, so he sucks. And Batista's jacked out of his mind, and he sucks. But if you're $160 and you kick out everybody's finishing move, you're the best wrestler in the world, and I just think it blows. And I'd much rather watch Hulk Hogan take on The Rock in Toronto in front of 70,000 people and hear the crowd explode by the way they just looked into the crowd because those guys are legit superstars that transcended the industry. And I kind of think that's missing right now from wrestling. WWE, on the other hand, is doing better than it's ever done from a business standpoint. So they've figured out how to make the machine work and make money better than ever. So you got to give them credit. But in terms of the product, sometimes I get disappointed. Like I feel like I'm no longer a fan. I love the art form and never will stop. But I get frustrated watching the WWE sometimes, just like every fan. But I never get too critical because I know that you don't know what's going on behind closed doors, and you don't know how difficult it is to run a company like that and write storylines and things of that nature. But sometimes I get disappointed that it isn't the same product that I grew up watching,
Yeah, but it seems though, I mean, in the many videos that I've watched about matches or documentaries and what have you, Triple H seems to be the guy that's driving the WWE train right now, and he was always enamored by the guys who were larger than life. He was always enamored by those guys that were horses, like you mentioned, like the Batistas, the Rybacks, the Brock Lesnars, and he may be trying to take it back, back to that time. But like you said, it's when I see CM Punk square off with the Undertaker, and the Undertaker is as Michael Cole has stated many times, the best pure striker. And he hits him with a right hand, and CM Punk is still standing. Usually when Undertaker throws that right hand at you, you always hit the mat and pop right back up. When CM Punk was fighting him, he was just standing there, and I was like, well, that doesn't seem like that's happening. I mean, he outweighs him by like at least about 60 pounds. How's he just standing up there? So, maybe it'll swing back around. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things that I've heard it in the crowd, like I've been wrestling in a match and I've been backstage and somebody throws a headlock on a guy, and there's a guy in the front row who bought a ticket who watched a lot of YouTube. He goes, "Hey, dude, this is boring. I know it's a work. Why you put them in a hold?" It's like I just can't stand that. Like they disrespect the guys in the ring so much, some of the fans, and because if you've ever played a competitive sport, if you've ever tried to be recruited to be a Division I athlete, if you've ever been in a fight, size matters. Those things matter. And, like, when you start doing all these crazy choreographed Harlem Globetrotter spots, it ceases to become real. You know what I mean? It's like, I think everybody knows that it's not a legitimate fight between two guys going at it, but it needs to at least suspend your reality enough to where, you know, guys aren't always constantly, like the undersized guy isn't constantly winning. Like, if I look at a guy and I don't think he can kick my ass, then why would he be the WWE World Heavyweight Champion? Because it just seems fake to me. It's an old school mentality, but if you're running a company and you want your guy to represent the entire company and be up on Saturday Night Live and stand next to LeBron James, you want him to look legit, be jacked, look like an athlete, look like he can kill somebody. Yeah, that's just the way I look at it.
I totally agree with you. Yeah, like, because, I mean, from an outsider, I've never wrestled. I mean, professionally. I was an amateur wrestler. Luke's never wrestled. When you look at it from the outside, and a lot of these documentaries and certain things that end up happening with what goes on in the ring, you know, you're telling a story. You don't have words. You're basically trying to tell a story of what's going on. And a lot of those, you know, like you said, the flips. If you talk about, I would much rather see a Ryback, I'd rather see like a Triple H Orton match rather than a Sin Cara Alberto Del Rio. Now, that's nothing against Sin Cara Alberto Del Rio. I just see some of those spots that have happened. It's just like, okay, they're doing okay. All right, when are we going to get to some? Tell me a story here. What's going on? You know, that's why I don't think anything will match up to the Triple H Undertaker or Undertaker Shawn Michaels matches that have happened in the past 4 years. Those were just some of the those are some of just the amazing matches that have happened. And speaking of the Undertaker, go ahead.
One thing I just want to say to close that out is I'm talking more about like the independent scene. You know what I mean? When it comes to the guys in the WWE, I'm not criticizing anybody who does it for a living who's been signed by WWE. They're clearly better than me. For WWE management who have decided they should work there, so it's not like I'm saying that I belong here and they don't or anything like that. I'm just saying that sometimes you go to like these independent shows, and that's where I'm always like frustrated about. Like, this guy was $160, he wears kick pads. Like, why is he a superstar when I'm in the gym 3 hours a day, 7 days a week? So there's an element of realism to my frustrations, but by no means am I saying like there's certain guys in the WWE who, maybe I wouldn't be a fan of them as a little kid, but I respect each and every one of those guys.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And I wasn't trying to imply that. I was just basically saying, from my point of view, that's what I like to see the ring generals control the match and tell a story out there. And a lot of those predetermined, more like the high flyers. They are entertaining to watch, and they're fantastic at what they do. It's just a lot of the times I'm just like, okay, what's the story here? What's going on in the ring? What are you guys trying to tell me? I guess that's where I come at it. And then, speaking of the Undertaker, I gotta get your predictions. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Hashtag Sports. You can see us at hashtagsports.net or ultimatesportstalk.com. The card's coming up. WrestleMania 30 is just right around the corner. I want to get your take on and who do you think will win some of the matches and how you think some of the matches will play out. So, first up, Cena versus Wyatt, your hometown boy versus the preacher, the pharaoh, whatever he thinks he is right now. So, what do you think about the Wyatt-Cena match?
Well, I think the Wyatts are very, very entertaining, and I hate doing this too. I hate when people say this. If I were booking, I would probably see. I would think that Wyatt would go over or would win the match just because John Cena is, a bona fide superstar and a once in a decade, once in a lifetime type of superstar. So I don't think a loss at WrestleMania hurts him as much as it would help the Wyatts. So, you know what I mean? I kind of think that would be the right thing to do, but at the same time, it's WrestleMania and John Cena is still kind of the face of the company. So if I had to put money on it, I guess I would say Cena for that one.
All right.
But I would like to see Wyatt win, even though I'm a Cena guy. Cena's my favorite worker in the WWE. I love his work. I think he's a great performer in the ring. I think he's very underrated in the ring.
Yes, indeed. If I could just sidestep that for a second, is it me, or why hasn't anyone compared Damien Sandow to that goon in Superman 2 yet?
Which one?
You see the one of the, when the three guys come down. Loop, you know what I'm talking about, right? In Superman 2, and the three guys from his home planet come down to try to get him. The big goon in the back with the beard. He looks just like Damien Sandow. I'm just waiting for one guy.
He's another guy who's very, very talented, Damien Sandow.
Oh yeah.
He came from Chaotic Wrestling School, which is where I'm trained, New England Wrestling Academy, out of North Andover, which is where I'm training every once in a while now, when I can. It's tough with work, but so it's another. New England's producing some wrestlers, so I always heard that he's a little bit like the Genius. That's what I've heard him compared to, but yeah, I think he's entertaining. Him and Bad News Eric. I love Bad News. I like his promos. I love it.
When that thing comes up out of the ground, he just says, "I got some bad news." He's hilarious. I swear to God, that dude is so funny. Another guy too is. Are you surprised that no one's compared Antonio Cesaro? Although another great worker, and his match against Cena the other night was fantastic. Why no one's compared Cesaro to the Transporter or Jason Statham in general?
Yeah, they actually do. They do look alike, but I think Cesaro's got him beat in the weight room. Cesaro's a freak of nature.
Great videos of Cesaro, man. That dude is a monster.
Yeah, he's legit. He's built to go. You know what I mean? He's not just he's not doing the bicep curls. He's doing nice functional stuff. And him and Cena. To anybody who says that Cena can't wrestle is just clueless. You got to watch that match on Monday Night Raw. That's the match of the year right now. I think that's right, slightly ahead of Bryant Wyatt at the Royal Rumble, which is an amazing match to kick off the Royal Rumble. Those are my two favorites of the year right now. So, and one of them was on Monday Night Raw. I had a tweet about it. I was like, man, that's the best match I've seen on Raw in 5 years. But
yeah, they were comparing a lot of what Cesaro does to Cena. So maybe that's something for us to watch out for. I mean, yeah, those two matches. I saw the Rumble one as well. I mean, that was a fantastic way to kick off the Royal Rumble. And speaking of Daniel Bryan, what do you think about Triple H going up against Bryan?
That's another thing. If I were, this is going to sound crazy. If I were running it, I don't know if this is even possible with the way the storyline is. I would find a way for them both to get in the main event, like some sort of draw of some kind, and then I would have Triple H win the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania by screwing Daniel Bryan, because I think you can drag this thing out for another year. They want to see him win the title so bad. If you want to make more money and keep people coming back for more, you got to keep sticking it to him. Everybody wants him to win, and it reminds me a little bit of Bill Goldberg, even though I think Bill Goldberg kind of transcended the industry a little bit better than Daniel Bryan, and he's a bigger dude. But nevertheless, I felt like once Goldberg, he was undefeated, he was on this roll, and there was this, like, they wanted him to knock off Hogan, and once he did, he lost considerable momentum once he was the champion. And I kind of feel like that Daniel Bryan, like, he goes for it, he's getting screwed. Finally, he wins it. Where do you go from there? You know what I mean? I think it makes more sense from a business standpoint to drag it out. But it's one of those things. There might be a riot in New Orleans if he doesn't win the title. So, you know what I mean? It might be like that. It might be like watching a wrestling show back in the 80s down in Mexico and somebody gets stabbed or something. I don't want to say that, but you know what I mean? There'll be some serious heat going on if
or the city of Vancouver rioting after Game 7 of the Stanley Cup.
Right. Yeah, something like that. I mean, people take pro wrestling pretty seriously, so it'll be riotous if Daniel Bryan doesn't win the title. So I don't know what to predict there. I mean, I think if I had to put my money on it, I would probably say Daniel Bryan's going to win the title. But if I were calling the shots, which I am not, I am selling software. But if I were calling the shots, I would put Triple H as the heavyweight champion. As crazy as that sounds, that's what I would do.
Very good, very good. Do you think that it's, I got a couple more matches here that I want you to chime in on. Do you think it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that Big Show is going to win the Andre the Giant Memorial?
I don't know what they're going to do with that, to be honest with you. Have they announced all the participants yet?
They announced about 15 of them.
Okay. See, I would have to know who's actually in it. I think as like a symbolic thing, it would make sense for that to happen. But I don't know. I mean, it seems like that's a great opportunity to create a new star, you know what I mean, to give them a win in that situation. But, yeah, it's a tough one to call. I mean, you got a lot of people in it. I have to know the full list of who's in it, and I missed Raw last week being on the road. So
they had a lot of the guys that they get tossed out after 3 minutes in the Royal Rumble are going to be in it. So obviously Khali, what's his name? A few of those smaller guys.
Ziggler's in it.
Oh yeah, Ziggler's in it. Who I think is a great worker too. Oh my God, I think he's going to be going up there pretty soon. I mean, that guy's a great worker in the business as well.
He's a great athlete, no doubt about it. He's a Division I standout at Kent State, right? I believe wrestled there.
Yeah.
He's just so athletic and so entertaining. He's one of my favorite guys to watch. Absolutely, Dolph Ziggler.
He made a lot of people forget that he's actually in the Spirit Squad too.
I know. He was able to overcome that. So that's a testament to how talented he is.
Oh, okay. And then moving on, Shield versus Kane and New Age Outlaws. What do you think of that matchup?
That Shield is going to win that.
Really? You think? I think Reigns is going to turn on Reigns. I think they got to split. I think it may be too early for Reigns to go out on his own because they have some other guys in place. But you can almost sense that's coming. That Reigns is going to end up venturing out on his own. Yeah,
no, I can definitely see that. I think Rollins is the sleeper best overall. I think he's no disrespect to either one of those guys, but I think Rollins, he could be like a standout babyface. That match against the Wyatts at the pay-per-view I thought he shined and was the guy in that match to me. He just super athletic, ton of fire, like got behind him big time. Like he could be a big time babyface, Rollins, I think. Roman Reigns obviously he's pretty much the total package. 6'3", great look, very athletic, jacked. You know what I mean? Like I think he was going to be a star too. I think he's like the obvious choice, but I think Rollins is like a sleeper 5 years from now who's going to be a superstar. I think he's got a ton of talent. I love watching him too.
Yeah, even that match they had with the Wyatts again on Raw. I mean, he just totally took the show with some of the moves that he was doing in there, just jumping over one rope, climbing underneath the ring, jumping on over the other rope. It was very entertaining to see him do that. A lot of the stuff that he does, he kind of reminds me of like when Jeff Hardy started to come into his own. That type of high flyer, but with a little bit of more ground and pound, a little bit more nastiness to him. So we'll see how that plays out. And the match of all matches.
Nice one there, Rex Ryan.
All right, shut up. I hate you. All right. The match of all matches, with a little bit of a heated, backstory with it and everything. Undertaker versus Lesnar. What do you got in that one?
I just think it's a slam dunk. Unfortunately, not unfortunately that he's going to win, but it's unfortunate that it's a slam dunk. I think Undertaker wins that. You know what I mean? I just don't think that there's a payoff if Lesnar is the guy who breaks the streak. You know what I mean? But it could. You never know. They might throw a swerve in there. But I don't know what the story is with Brock. But some people say that I really, really like Brock Lesnar. I always have. Because he's the most legit guy that they have in terms of just being a pure athlete. He can kill somebody, and he's the total package type deal. And I don't know what you got to pay. I don't know what you got to pay the guy to make him the next Bruno Sammartino and put the belt on him for 3 years. But the guy was the king of pay-per-view for UFC. I mean, I don't. Yeah. I mean, I love watching him, and like my buddies tell me, they're like, you just like him because he's around for 6 matches a year. You don't get sick of him. Like, I don't know, man. I think Lesnar's extremely entertaining, and it brings back a little bit of the Attitude Era when he comes out and kills people. And I love his match with Punk was awesome at SummerSlam, and Punk is an unbelievable wrestler, obviously, so he always is in a good match. But I thought that match was outstanding.
Yeah, I like what Lesnar can bring to the table, and even when he was a full-time guy, I never got sick of watching him. I mean, he would just go out there and say, okay, I'm going to F5 you, and I'm going to go home. But he made it a good match too. He didn't just go out there like Goldberg did a lot of times, wrestle for 36 seconds. But I mean, he came out, he put on a good match for it, and some of his matches with Angle were some of the best matches I've ever seen. So
yeah, that Iron Man match on SmackDown. I just think that the emotional investment is always there because he's a character. Sometimes some of the wrestlers that aren't larger than life, it's like, yeah, they're super good wrestlers, but you don't care who wins and loses. And when I remember the Brock Lesnar versus Rock match at SummerSlam back in like 2002, I remember that being one of my favorite matches ever to watch as a fan. I was like a senior or junior in high school because I cared so much about who won and lost. And I think that's what makes a wrestling match so great, when you're not thinking about, oh, this guy's a great worker, or this guy's a really good wrestler. I don't like how he did that move there. Like, that sucks. Your reality's not suspended. But when I remember specifically that match at SummerSlam between The Rock and Brock Lesnar, I was watching with four of my buddies, and two of them wanted The Rock, and I wanted Lesnar. And, it's a blast. That's when wrestling's fun to watch. So,
yeah,
you need to be
absolutely.
a large-than-life character for the fans to be invested in who wins and loses.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like Daniel Bryan, for instance, he became huge when he started doing the yes, yes, yes stuff. He was always a phenomenal wrestler. But when he started to be larger than life and grow that beard out and do the yes, 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 that's when he took off.
Yep. I agree. All right. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Jimmy Preston, the one-man thrill ride here on #Sports. Jimmy, any plugs you wanna put in? I know we mentioned that you'll be wrestling in the pseudo toilet at over in Fall River, Mass. So you got any other matches coming up?
Yeah, I'll be wrestling for Big Time Wrestling, which is pretty much all over the place. I'm actually wrestling in a tag team match. The Modern Day Savages were taking on WWE Hall of Famer Jake the Snake Roberts, and then the Patriot tag team match. So that's on the 25th or 26th, I believe, in Altoona, Pennsylvania. So check out BigTimeWrestling.com. I'm excited to be in the ring with Jake. And, I have all the respect in the world, but I ain't getting DDT'd. He's probably going to get hit with a TKO.
Yeah, and your tag partner is the ladies' man Greg Edwards, correct?
Absolutely. The best mustache in professional sports, Don Mattingly and Tom Selleck himself. They shaved their mustaches out of fear of the ladies' man. That's what happened. They saw the mustache out of fear. They shaved it.
Well, it's funny. It's funny you mentioned Tom Selleck because.
Yeah.
Yes.
We have a regular staple here on #Sports. We got a few things. Jim, I really appreciate you taking the time out for the past, present, and future segment here at #Sports. Is there now I'm going to try to. I'm sorry, I'm going to put you on the spot here. I know I did a little bit earlier. We got a live show here, and it goes directly to podcast at #sports.net and ultimatesportstalk.com. If you had to cut a promo on the #crew, how would it go? Like how would you try to put it, and how would it sound?
Well, the first thing I'd say is that I am the one-man thrill ride, Jimmy Preston, and Handsome is officially happening on #Sports. And I'm looking at the laundry list right now of hosts on this show. We got a guy who calls himself the Closer, Paul, 6'2", 150. It sounds like you have a sunken chest so deep that I could eat 4 bowls of Frosted Flakes, and I'm great. And at 6'2", 150, I've seen thicker legs hanging out of a bird's nest. You need to get yourself in a weight room and do some squats, bro. Thomas Luke Proctor, you did cross country in college. Is that correct? Cross country. That's not even a real sport, bro. You got to play some football. But at 140, man, I could literally bicep curl you for a set of 10. And Michael Legend Granada, 5'9", 230. You're a big dude, and you're a D3 catcher. That means you're a field general, so I kind of respect you. But the bottom line is if you put down number 1, I was going to hit a laser beam into the gap, so that would have been your fault. And Mario, what do we have? 6'5", 240. Man, you're almost the size of the Rock, but nevertheless, if we stood in the ring together, all the bimbos in Boston would want a piece of the one-man thrill ride because I am the cream of the cock of the walk, an absolute savage that can't be tough. So on behalf of all the boys from Boston, I'm going to have to say, see you, Dinks.
Thank you. That was fantastic. Thank you, Jimmy. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our show. We had the free agent breakdown. We talked to the one-man throw right, Jimmy Preston. Be sure to see him on YouTube. He's a YouTube sensation and a fantastic wrestler coming out of New England. For the Loop, the Closer, and the one-man throw ride, this is #Sports. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.